Hello, my name is Teresa Lafang. I'm a registered nurse and I'm on the RN to BSN program with the Lamar University. And one of my assignments is to do a disaster preparedness lecture with an Great community. And the community that I choose to do is hospice nurses in an inpatient unit. I am a hospice case manager, and I thought being in the hospice field, I have come to realize that they need more teaching. So I'm doing teaching to hospice nurses in the inpatient unit with the hospice company where I work. I brought out this booklet. I thought it was it has a wealth of information. This is a booklet that is published by the city of Houston, Texas, by the mayor's office and the Office of Emergency Management. And also they have a website. If you're interested, you can go on the website. It's HoustonOEM.net. And when you go there, you can see right there is a disaster preparedness guide. And if you click on it, you have a button right down there that says you should read more. When you go there, since disaster is something that occurs every time and they have changes and all that, and you can see it's a cool website. They have it in Vietnamese, in Spanish, in Italian, in Chinese, and English. So you can go there and print it off. This is the English version. And it will give you exactly what is up here. And beside the website, people who don't have access to the computer, you can go to any public library and pick this up. For you and your family, it has a wealth of information. It will tell you everything you need to know. That being said, people get confused a lot about disaster. What is a disaster? A disaster is something that it will put you in an uncomfortable situation. Some of the disasters are unexpected. Some of the disasters do not give you time to react. Some of the disasters do not give you time to even think. It comes like that. We have different kinds of disasters. Natural disaster, man-made disasters, and stuff like that. Natural disaster is like what we have in Houston, hurricanes. And oh my God, we are in the hurricane season. Hello.
Hi.
And hurricane season is something that we don't look forward to it, but we don't have a choice. It happens. We have tornadoes. Tornadoes is another terrible one. You know what happened in tsunami. We don't bless their heart for those who were in tsunami at that time. We have flooding. We have that in Houston all the time. With the poor drainage system we have in Houston, hello, flooding is something that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Over the news, at times you just get tired of looking at the news and see how many cars flooded, how many cars got, damaged because of a flood. We have fire. That is so common, especially in California today. Every time wildfires, people have to evacuate from there. This side has been burned. This many of acres have been burned. That's a disaster right there. We have hazardous materials. It's like when this came, I can't get it out of my brain right now, but we have hazardous materials that we have to evacuate from there. Air pollution and all of that. We have another one, earthquakes. That's a common one. Tango, we haven't had in America for a while, but there are places that have earthquakes that people have to evacuate from them. We have bombings. Remember 911, people had to be evacuated from that area. We have pandemics like the flu. The recent one that we had was the H1N1, the swine flu. We have the red Nile virus with the mosquitoes. Those are pandemic. Those are things we need to protect ourselves and our family against. Okay? Another thing we want to talk about is components of disaster preparedness. What do we want to know about disaster preparedness? The one important thing, if you don't do anything at all, the one thing you have to do is to have a plan. You have to have a plan. Because with a plan, you will know, okay, who's in charge. By the time you know this person is in charge, you know who to channel the problem with. Who do we call? What do we do? Where do we run to? Which exit door do we use? Which exit route do we use? What vehicle do we use? Who is supposed to be in charge? But with a plan, we have all of that. And with a plan, there is less chaos, there's less stress, there's less questions, and there's more action. Because on a disaster, every single minute counts. You don't want to waste time thinking, oh my God, what am I supposed to do? What did I say I was supposed to do? No, I thought it was, but no, you cannot do that. You don't have time for arguments. You have time for action. If you have a fire in the building, what do? If you have a plan, you will know the first thing you do, you have to do your pass. You run, grab the fire extinguisher, you have to confine the air, squeeze it and confine it in an area. You pull your residents away from the fire. You take them towards the stairs and running towards the elevator and all of that. But all of that you get to know if there is a plan. So having a plan is very, 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 very important. I can't stress it enough. Another thing people forget, an emergency kit. An emergency kit is so important. And especially we being in the medical field, in the healthcare field, emergency kit. The one thing you don't want to forget, prescription medication. What are you going to do about your hypertensive patient? What are you going to do about a COPD patient? What are you going to do about your diabetics if you didn't keep 2 weeks supplies for them? Because it can take as long as 2 weeks before anything comes back in. You want to keep those prescription medications. You want to keep bandages. You want to keep Band-Aid. You want to keep antibiotic ointment. Because there might be some bruises, there might be some wounds. You want to keep painkillers. I can't tell you how important. Your Tylenol, your ibuprofen, your Aleve, your Advil, whatever it is your facility uses. You want to keep that in place. I can tell you how that will be of enormous help to you if you have it in place. And hand sanitizer. Yes, I know they tell us the first and best way to prevent transmission of bacteria is hand washing. But what happens if there's no water? At least the closest thing to hand washing is sanitizing your hands. So you want to keep those hand sanitizers. It is very, very, very important. Other things you want to have is your flashlight, your batteries, your lighter, your pocket knife, your dusted. Excuse me. You want to have all of those things. And you want to have cash. Don't just have a card. What happens if the ATM machine is not working and you have to go back where you have to get gas? What do? You're not going to go to the gas station and say, sir, I'm very sorry, I have a card. They say, well, the machine is down. What are you going to do? You need cash. So do not forget to keep cash. Don't forget it. And there are 2 kinds of bags. You can make a to-go bag, which is a bag that you have to take when you have to evacuate, and you have to make a stay-at-home bag, which is a bag that you have if you have to shelter in place. Another thing we want to talk about is food and water. Oh, I can tell you how important that is. We tell our patients all the time, your medication won't work if you don't eat. You have to try and eat something to help the medication to work. So we want to keep at least 4-day supply of food and water for every single one of our residents. So you have 20 residents. That will mean 4-day supply for every single one of those 20 residents. And 4-day supply for every single one of those staff that's going to stay in place to work with these residents while the disaster is in effect. 4-day supply. And food, the best kind of food you want to keep is canned food. So there we go, the can openers. Do not forget those can openers. You have to have a can opener because by the time you have cans and you don't have an opener, there we go. How do you open up your food? So can openers, very, 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 very important. And another thing is, people will ask you, okay, after all of this teaching, how can you evaluate that the teaching was effective or it was not effective? The best way I'm going to evaluate if my teaching was effective is by doing a fire drill. With a fire drill, what I would do is I would stay put and watch what happens. Did my information go through? Do they still need more teaching? Was everybody clear? What will I give? Will I say my teaching was effective or not effective? You want to know. So a disaster drill is going to be it for me. That's the way I'm going to evaluate whether my teaching was right. Another way that I'm going to evaluate here and now is by asking questions like, say, man, tell me name me the different kind of disasters. If you can name them, it means you understood what I was saying. If I can say in your disaster kit, what will you have in your disaster kit? For your food and water, how many days supply are you supposed to have for your food and water? And if you tell me 4 days, then there we go. We are on the same page. We are talking about it. And about the plan, what is the most important thing we want to know? We want to have a plan. We want to know who is in charge. And if you tell me that, then we are good. Then we are on the same page because we want to be on the same. We don't want any chaos. We don't want any confusion. We want to have everybody on the same page and know what to do, where to go, and all of that. And also, this book has numbers back here. Like, for example, you have 911. 911 is numbers you call when there is an emergency, you need somebody to come here now. You have the 311 number. That is for a non-emergency reason. You call for them to know that you need this, but you might not be as emergent as it. The 211 number, that is for transportation. And for this number, you have to register. So if one of your patients is about to go home and they don't have anybody at home, they don't have any car, you want to register them for 211. So the city will know there is a person there over in the corner of Highway 69 and 45 that needs to be picked up if there's an evacuation. So you have to act as an advocate for your patients. Register them for the 211. You have to register them. And like I said, this website, it has a wealth of information. If you go here, you will be surprised of how much information you have on this website. It has everything. Go there, you read about it. That is the preparedness checklist I was talking about, making the plan, practicing about it, billing your kid and everything. There we go. That's the torchlight. Those are the canned food. Those are your water that you need to need, your radio, your batteries, and all of that. And also for those pet lovers. I didn't talk about pets, but those pet lovers, there we go. You have to make sure you have a first aid kit for your pet medication, strong leashes and collars on harness for your pet, carriers to transport them if they need to be transported, their food, their portable water, their bowl, their litter, and all of that. They have a wealth of information. You still have to stay informed, and you have all these numbers you have to call. Okay? Any questions? And if you have any questions, and like I said, this is when I saw this book, I was like, oh my God, this has made my life so better. Because with this book, you have everything information that you want, and you have numbers at the back that you can call for more information if you did not get it. Thank you. That was Teresa Lefay, area BSS student with Lamar University.